NegroVMX here, and today we're going to be reviewing the second Batman film, Batman Returns. Now this is an interesting one because it's quite polarizing among fans of the character and filmgoers alike. On the other hand, this is considered by many, including the director Tim Burton, to be better than the original. It's dark, gothic, violent, creepy, and has a charm and visual style that surpasses that of the original. However, many people feel that the general plot was silly. Batman was reduced to a supporting role, and the entire thing felt way more like a Tim Burton movie than a Batman movie. Sound familiar? It's the same comments I made about the first film, only the issue in this case of Batman Returns is far, far more apparent. As the first movie was such a success, Tim Burton got a lot more control over the sequel, giving it his unique visual style. Most of the cast from the first film returns. Michael Keaton is back playing Batman, and supporting characters such as Commissioner Gordon and Alfred the Butler are still around. Notably missing are both Harvey Dent and Vicky Vale. There are 3 new villains in the movie. First is Max Schreck, a corrupt businessman played by Christopher Walken. His secretary, Selina Kyle, played by Michelle Pfeiffer, later becomes Catwoman. And of course there's the Penguin, the main villain of the movie, played by Danny DeVito. Out of the 3 new actors, Christopher Walken does the best job, easily slipping into the role without becoming the self-parody he would be in many of his later films. Michelle Pfeiffer, and especially Danny DeVito, however, are prone to fits of overacting, which makes an already over-the-top movie that much more ridiculous. The story begins with a wealthy Gotham couple having a baby. The baby is deformed and already homicidal, so they do what any caring parents would do, they dump it in the river. The baby survives, and we later learn he becomes the Penguin, a deformed half-man, half-bird creature living in the Gotham sewers. The Penguin is also the leader of the Red Triangle Gang, a circus-themed gang of nutty criminals that honestly would have been more at home working for the Joker than the Penguin. When the Red Triangle Gang attacks at a Christmas tree lighting, Batman shows up and turns into a homicidal maniac, killing most of them. Now, I don't know what his problem is, but Batman is a lot more violent in this one. I guess he figures blowing people up and lighting them on fire is the best way to fight crime, since he still really can't fight effectively in that rubber suit. Which I don't understand. Why did they give Michael Keaton such a restrictive costume that he can't do any sort of action in? It was a problem in the first movie, and it's still a problem here. And there's a lot more action in this film, so it's even more of a problem. I mean, Catwoman has a flexible suit, so why not Batman? Well, anyway, the film goes to Max Schreck, who we don't know is bad yet, but we can tell he's a fucking douchebag because of the way he treats his secretary, Selina Kyle. When she accidentally uncovers some wrongdoing, he pushes her out of a window. Now this is where it gets really weird. Well, weirder anyway. A bunch of cats come around and basically resurrect her by bumping into her and biting her fingers and shit. So she becomes Catwoman. Yeah, you heard me. Never mind the whole thing of Catwoman being, a cat burglar. Instead, she's this crazy bitch in a stitched-up vinyl suit who has a weird cat powers. And I know a lot of people think Michelle Pfeiffer was hot in that cat suit, but to me, she just looks creepy. She looks all pale and her lipstick really stands out, and she's got that insane gleam in her eyes. Catwoman is a character without any center. She doesn't have any motivation. Sometimes she fights criminals, sometimes she fights Batman, sometimes she's trying to bone Batman, sometimes she's working with the Penguin, and sometimes she's just going around destroying shit. She doesn't have any purpose other than the fact that she's a nut. The Penguin, however, he has a very definite plan. He wants to become the mayor of Gotham City. First he makes himself popular by saving a baby, who was of course kidnapped by one of his own guys. Then he starts a political campaign, along with Max Schreck, to discredit the mayor and become the mayor himself. Of course, Batman stops him by publicly humiliating him by playing tapes of him ranting like a maniac. The Penguin then wants to kill all the firstborns in Gotham City by having them all gather on a giant choo-choo train or a mechanical rubber ducky, then tries to blow up Gotham using penguins with rockets strapped to their backs. Yes, that really is as retarded as it sounds. In the end, we all know what happens. The Penguin gets blown up, Catwoman kills Max Schreck with a taser, then apparently dies, though we know she's still alive and Batman just kind of wanders off. Also, Batman just kind of tears his mask off. I mean, is it that easy to rip off? Or does he have superpowers in this one? What the hell is up with that? The film hasn't aged well and is full of unbelievable characters in completely insane settings doing things that make no sense to anybody. The fact is, it's beautifully shot and directed, but that can no longer overcome its many, many, many flaws. Now, I'm not one of those shit carpets who always bitch about sequels and how sequels can never live up to the original, nor am I one of those hump joints who thinks that every sequel is better than the original. But in the case of Batman Returns, the sequel is definitely far inferior to the original. The first Batman movie, Tim Burton had some kind of control on him, and he was at least trying to make a Batman film. In this, I guess he's trying to do a live-action Nightmare Before Christmas, because that's what it seems like. It didn't turn out too well, in my opinion, and I'm going to give it a 5 out of possible 10.